Hey everyone, it's Kelsey. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Vlogmas. And I figured for this Vlogmas video, I'm gonna do a TV show and movie wrap up because I feel like we have I did all the books I read and I did my Spotify Wrapped, so I feel like I should do a video about all the TVs and movies that I watched. So that's what we're gonna do. This is based on my IMDb and what I rated this year. So I'm pretty good about rating things usually because I think it's fun to rate things. I don't know, I have a good time. So the first thing I have on here is National Treasure. I think this was the first time I had ever watched that movie. At the very least, it was the first time I watched it all the way through. And on IMDb, it's out of 10, and I think I gave it a 7, but I feel like it should be higher than that. I feel like it should be like an 8, I don't know. Because I really liked it, so I don't know why it's only a 7, but I digress. I think I'm going to change the rating. Then I have Top Gun Maverick, which I gave a 10 out of 10, which I'm kind of surprised because I really liked the movie. But then I'm like, the more I think about it, the more there was some stuff I wish they would have done with that movie. I was like, oh, some of it leaves a little bit to be desired. Like the relationship between, I can't even remember anyone's names, but the main guy and then Miles Teller's character, the son, I feel like there could have been more there. But I digress. And then I watched on Netflix, there was the show Sexy Beasts, and it's this dating show, but they get their hair and makeup done to look like animals. It was very bizarre. I gave it a 5 out of 10. I mostly watched it with my sister and Justin, just as something to laugh at. But so that's on here. Then Castlevania, the TV series on Netflix. It's animated, anime, cartoon. I don't know how to describe it. I rated it a 10 out of 10, which I'm kind of surprised, but I think because when I rated it, I was watching it and binging it and sat. It's very violent though, and I was taken aback by the violence, But I did like the story and thought it was very interesting, but I've just never gone back to it, so we'll see if I go back to it or not. Then I have Teen Wolf, because I was rewatching Teen Wolf, and Teen Wolf is a 10 out of 10 for me. You know what, I'm changing my rating for Castlevania, because I feel like my 10s are that should be my favorites, I'll always love Teen Wolf. I was rewatching it this year. It was very much, and still am, in my Teen Wolf obsession era, we're back there. Love it. Then I have Wolfpack on here, which obviously is the new Jeff Davis werewolf show, but it's not set in the same world as Teen Wolf, and all the mythology and the lore is completely different. I feel like I like the Teen Wolf lore better than the Wolfpack lore, and I like Teen Wolf better than Wolfpack, honestly. But I really enjoyed Wolfpack. I gave it a 10 out of 10, but I honestly might change the rating now, upon reflection, because I haven't rewatched it this whole year, so it's not a favorite for me. So I think I might change it to a 9 or an 8, because it was I was obsessed with it when I was watching it, but I wouldn't sit and rewatch it like I do my favorites, you know what I mean? But it was good. No idea if there's gonna be a season 2 now. I have no idea, and they're taking forever to announce it for some reason, which I feel means no, there's not gonna be a season 2. And Outer Banks, I rated that an 8 out of 10. I do love Outer Banks, it's a good show. It's not one of my favorites, so that's why it's not a 10. But season 3 was very good. I think season 3 was phenomenal, honestly. Loved the way the story went. Loved what they did with Rafe and Ward and Sarah's characters, honestly. Loved the whole JJ and Kiara thing because I have been wanting them to get together since season 1. And I like that the show listened to the fans and did it, and I also I don't want to get into all that because I don't know them personally, so I don't know if they have beef or whatever, but I like that the show didn't care about their beef and just did it anyways and wrote how they wanted to write it, because I have a lot of respect when shows and writers don't let themselves get bullied by the actors, you know what I mean? Oh, these actors have problems, so I can't do what I want with these characters. I like when shows just are listen, your business is your business, I'm gonna write these characters how I want to write the characters. I don't know if that makes sense, but so I like the way they did that. Some really good scenes in there that I've rewatched a few times, so Right, then I have Teen Wolf the movie on here. I gave that a 7 out of 10, and the only reason it's a 7, which would be kind of high for most people, is because of the nostalgia for me. Just like seeing the characters together again and seeing the actors together again posting behind the scenes was like so amazing and so healing for me. The story itself left something to be desired. I think the whole Nagitsune Allison thing didn't make a whole lot of sense to do it years later. I think if they would have done this as a season of Teen Wolf, like, I don't know, made it like season 6 or like season 7, like, so that they were closer to the ages that they all were, it would have made a lot of sense. Cody Christian didn't come back because he's like busy with All American, and it would have been cool to see Theo and what he's been up to. And then obviously Dylan O'Brien didn't come back, which is upsetting. And then Arden Cho didn't come back either, which is also upsetting. So I just think, and I think that, I'm not going to talk about this too much because I have a whole video where I talk about my love-hate relationship with the Teen Wolf movie, so definitely go check that out if you want to do it. I had a lot of fun filming that video and I have a lot of thoughts. So, but I think that it was very obvious that they wrote that storyline in mind to feature like Styles, Kira, and then like Allison, right? And when both Styles and Kira weren't going to be in it, then it was like they tried to turn Jackson and then Derek's son into the comic relief and into the Styles-like character, which worked fine, I guess, but was just weird. Jackson was always like kind of sassy and funny, so it was fine. And Eli was a good character, but it was weird because they never addressed like who his mother is. Like, where did he come from? How does Derek just have a kid? Like, let's address that. And then it was a carbon copy of Styles, so it was very obvious that they just wrote that character just to fill Dylan O'Brien's role. I would love to see what the original script was, honestly, because I bet it was like pretty similar, minus a few characters. And then they added, forget her name, honestly, they added another character to replace Kira, another Kitsune. And like, her character was fine and her Kitsune powers were kind of badass and cool, but it was very obvious that they just added her in because Kira didn't come back. And then they made her be with Liam, which I just didn't like because I am a Theum fucking stan. I will sink with that ship. I will go down with that ship. That is like one of my fucking OTPs. And it pissed me off. I would have rather just had him be with nobody. And having him move to Japan and be with this random fucking girl just pissed me off because I'm like, he would never just like move away from Scott. That doesn't make any sense to have him move away from Scott. Like, that's his alpha. They're supposed to be like, he's the only bit and beta of Scott. They should have like been in the same area as a pack. That's the whole fucking point. Because I just think that Teen Wolf really needed to play into the pack dynamics more. So I think they did sometimes in the show, but I think the movie lost that. And I see what they were going for and I see what they were trying to do. And I appreciate the fact that we even got a movie at all. But that's why I'm like, the plot itself, I have a lot of issues with, and I have a lot of things to pick apart. Also, Liam was critically and criminally underutilized in the movie. Like, it was ridiculous. Also, Lydia, I feel like, was kind of underutilized, too. I just had some issues with it, and if I were to write that movie, or write a season 7, I would have had a whole nother... I would have went in a whole different direction. And I wish they would have just done a season 7. Or just tell us it's season 7 and we'll just pretend that they all still look like high schoolers, you know? I don't know, because I think the time jump and having them all like move so far away from each other didn't make any sense. Also, like, at the end of Teen Wolf, like the show, the whole Monroe thing is still unresolved. And they left it with the idea that they're gonna like keep fighting her and they're gonna take Alec in, and then Theo is like kind of gonna be part of the pack and he's kind of like making amends and being like an ally, and then nothing. Like, no Theo, no Alec, no Corey. Like, what? I don't know. I had some issues and I'm like, Teen Wolf, let me write the season 7. I don't know, because I have a better idea for you. But it was very obvious, and I think honestly that when Dylan O'Brien wasn't gonna come back and Arden Cho wasn't going to come back, they should have just scrapped the movie and went in a different direction movie-wise, and just, I mean, like, scrapped the script and just had a different script. I think Jeff Davis just really wanted to bring Crystal Reed back and bring Allison back, and I respect that and I get it. I really do. I think it kind of did the story and the characters a little bit of a disservice. Yeah, and you could have found a way to bring her back. That could have been the second movie. You know what I mean? Like, there could have been a way to incorporate her. But I digress. I need to move on. This whole video cannot be about Teen Wolf because I've already have a whole video on my channel talking about Teen Wolf. Then the next one in here, Bullet Train. I give this an 8 out of 10. This was a phenomenal movie. I had so much fun. I watched this on the plane. Loved it. It was a great time. It had some great actors in it. The storyline was great. Just like a bunch of assassins on a train, like fighting for the same briefcase. It's like was so fun. Would watch it again. Like I liked it more than I thought I was going to, because I heard so many people talking about it, and sometimes when I hear that about movies, I'm like, oh well, it's just because of like, you know, this actor's in it. It's not actually going to be good, and I'm not just going to like it. But I watched this and I actually really loved it. So then on here I have Leap Year. I forget what this movie's about. It's a rom-com that I watched when I was at the DCP, but I gave it an 8 out of 10, so I guess I enjoyed it. Then I have 911, the normal show, because I was rewatching it. That's a 10 out of 10, the show itself for me. I have like ratings for individual episodes on here. That's a 10 out of 10. That's one of my favorite shows. I rewatch it all the time. Love every character, love every episode. Same with 911 Lone Star, which should have also been on here in like January. That show would either be like a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 for me, because I don't like it as much as the normal 911, but I still really like it, and I do rewatch it a lot, and I love the characters. So okay, then I have Grand Army on here. I totally forgot that I watched Grand Army. That show was traumatizing and scarring to me. It was not what I thought it was going to be about at all. I gave it a 5 out of 10, which was honestly, and the only reason it got a 5 out of 10 was because the acting was good. But I really didn't care. I didn't really care about it and like anything else about it. It was very traumatizing for me because it covered some serious topics that I wasn't unaware they were going to cover. So then Shiny Happy People, which is the Duggars documentary on Amazon. I gave that a 9 out of 10. That was so good, so interesting. It's a documentary on something that I used to watch. Like before the scandal, obviously, I used to watch like 19 Kids and Counting and whatever it was, 17, 18, 16, and I kept changing it. But so I used to watch it with my sister after school, so it was so interesting to now watch a documentary on like all the scandals and everything. I want to read like the sisters' books and everything. And We Have a Ghost, which is just like a cute little Halloween movie on Netflix, and I gave that a 6 out of 10. Honestly, I'm sure it's really good. I just kept falling asleep. Like, not because the movie was boring, just because I was tired, and then I never went back to it. So, I would like to go back to it at some point. It has Hopper in it, and I like him, so maybe I'll go back to it. Then I have My Fault. This is a movie on Prime. I think it's called Mea Culpa in, like, technically, but in America it's called My Fault. Gave this an 8 out of 10. This movie, so bad but so good. You know, like, the themes... I'm not even going to talk about what it's actually about, okay? If you know, you know, and if you don't, just look away and move on, okay? I thoroughly enjoyed it, though. Like, it was like that good kind of drama. I loved it. It was good. Would rewatch. Okay, then I have The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 2. I was rating, like, each individual episode. And The Summer I Turned Pretty as a show, I have no idea what I gave the show itself as a rating. I would probably give it, like, an 8 out of 10, though. Because I... rewatch it sometimes. I really like it. Maybe even higher than that. I don't know. Rating is hard, but because I watched season 2. Season 2 was so good. And anytime they even mention Susanna, I just like bawled my eyes out. Like I just can't. I'm not strong enough for that. I can't handle that. And Jury Duty. Oh my god, so good. That show's so funny. It's like The Office, but in Jury Duty, okay? And when I watched the show, spoiler warning, okay? When I watched the show, I did not know. For some reason, I missed the fact that it was like almost like a prank show. So I thought it was like a whole scripted show, and it was going to be like The Office, and it was going to follow the people, right? And then I had no idea that there was this one guy that just had no idea what was going on. And I was like, I was as shook as he was, because I don't think I read the description. I just think I like played it. But I almost kind of wish that it was just a scripted show for everyone instead, because I feel like it would have been so funny to see it like continue to go on. But I thoroughly enjoyed it anyways, so Then I have FUBAR on here, which is Arnold Schwarzenegger's like spy show on Netflix. I give this a 7 out of 10. I have not finished it yet. That's why it only has a 7. But I definitely need to go back to it because I was enjoying it. I just like got sidetracked watching other things so that I never finished it. But this is like reminding me to finish it. Then I have Barbie. Love it. So good. Just so good. 10 out of 10. I adore Barbie. That movie was so good. I loved it. I love Ryan Gosling as Ken. Like, he was just hilarious and he did such a good job and he was so funny. Then Red, White, and Royal Blue, I gave a 10 out of 10. I loved this movie. This is one of my favorite books, but the movie did it so much justice. Like, it came out so good. They were so true to the book. Like, obviously they cut out some stuff because you have to, but I was so happy with the way this was done, and I thought Alex and Henry were cast perfectly. Their chemistry was adorable. Like, I just love, this is like one of my new favorite movies, and I will be rewatching it. Loved it. It was awesome. Then I have Choose Love on here, which was the Netflix movie with Laura Marano that you like could, like, it was interactive, so you could like make the choices, and I give this a 7 out of 10 because it was fun and I had a good time with it. That's kind of all I have to say about that. Then I have Snowflake Mountain, which is like a reality show where they put like Gen Zs like and made them camp and stuff and like not use their phone. And I think I finished this because I had started watching it already, and I gave it an 8 out of 10. It was entertaining and I enjoyed it. Then I have Love Island on here. I gave this a 6 out of 10 because it was entertaining. I had a fun time. It's not like my favorite thing ever. Like, I wouldn't rewatch it. It's not even like my favorite reality show, but like it's nice to throw on in the background. Then I have Coraline and the Cat in the Hat, both of which were 1 star. If you watched my Facing My Biggest Fears video, these were both featured in that video, so. Okay. Then I have Spy Kids, because I rewatched the first Spy Kids movie because it was on Netflix, and I gave that a 10 out of 10 because I love Spy Kids, and it is a classic. Then Picture Perfect Mysteries, Newlywed and Dead. It has Carlos from Big Time Rush and his wife, who is the sister from Spy Kids, who's Carmen in Spy Kids. Watched this, gave it a 7 out of 10. It was super enjoyable. It was a good time. It's like part of a series, so it's kind of sad because they like didn't get together at the end, and I was like, oh. And then only the first one of like the first episode of this is like available to me because like Hallmark movies, their streaming is weird. Like, certain ones are available at certain times in certain places, so like the rest of them weren't available to me last time I checked. So I was upset because I wanted to continue it. But then I have the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I gave this a 6 out of 10 because I had fun with it. Like, it was a good time, but I watched it on the plane, and watching it on a plane, it was like kind of trippy. It was kind of trippy. And like, it was good. It was fine. It's not like my favorite movie of all time. Like, I wouldn't like rewatch it, and like it's not like one like Frozen or something that I would like rewatch and it would bring me comfort, but like I enjoyed it and I had a good time, you know. And I thought Jack Black as Bowser was hilarious. So then I have the Good Witch movie on here. I had seen the show, but this was my first time watching the movie because it was available for me. Gave it an 8 out of 10. It was just so cozy, just all the cozy, spooky, witchy vibes. I loved it. It was great. Then on here I have Goosebumps. This was like the Jack Black one. I gave this a 6 out of 10. I think I watched this in one of my vlogs, so you've probably heard me talk about it before, but I really liked the concept of this. I thought it was super interesting. And there was a twist at the end that I saw coming, but was still like good and sad. You know what I mean? So then I have A Cinderella Story, Christmas Wish. This is with Laura Marano and Greg Sulkin. So 2 Disney besties. Gave it a 6 out of 10. I had a good time. It was fun. It was a nice little Christmas movie. It's actually the only Christmas movie I have watched this year, which is kind of funny because I watched it in like November. Then the last 2 things on here are High Tides, which I just talked about in my last vlog. Gave this a 7 out of 10. I don't need to say anything else about it. Go check out the last video I posted. The one that's like chatting like we're on FaceTime. I talk about it a lot in there. And then My Life with the Walter Boys, which I've talked about multiple times on this channel, I gave an 8 out of 10 because I was sat. For both of these shows, I was sat and I was invested and I was ready. So that is what I watched this year, at least what I remember watching through, like based on what is on rated on IMDb. I obviously rewatched some stuff I've already seen, like some movies and some shows that I have already rated on IMDb, so I like didn't rate them again, but those are like the highlights of what I watched. So the best movie for me would be Red, White, and Royal Blue. And the reason it's not Barbie, it's between those two, but the reason it's not Barbie is because Red, White, and Royal Blue was so special to me, and the book is so special to me. So I was worried about the adaptation. I was worried about the adaptation. I was worried I wouldn't like it, but I actually ended up loving it, and having it turn out like so perfect is just like special to me. So I would just put that as my favorite, you know? And then my favorite show of the year. The show I was the most obsessed with this year was Teen Wolf, and like rewatching Teen Wolf. So that is my personal show of the year, but I would say like for the favorite show of the year, like new content wise, would have to be Outer Banks season 3. Because for new content, that was like my favorite. That's what I would have to say. Because that's kind of a harder one to do. I was definitely the most obsessed with Teen Wolf though. Like I just rewatched Teen Wolf like an astronomical amount of times this year, and I'm ready to do it again. Like I just love that show. That is my TV wrap up. That's what I watched. I actually kind of watched more than I thought I did, so I was like a little surprised. And like I said, I rewatched some stuff that like isn't on here, but I watched a lot of new things this year, which is like kind of exciting because sometimes I have years where I like don't find anything new that I like at all. So it's always kind of exciting when I do. But okay, that is my 2023 TV and movie wrap up. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the concept of this video. If you did, give it a like down below. Be sure to subscribe for more content. And comment down below what your favorite movie or TV show was in 2023. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Later, Gators. Bye.